time, her whole life has unraveled. You know, she's lost her position with Starfleet. She's self-medicating with alcohol and with some kind of drugs. And then she's become so wrapped up in the conspiracy theories about who perpetrated the attack on Mars that it cost her family. So to me, Raffi is probably, I mean, she's a pretty broken person who's barely holding it together. And it's really interesting to see her story arc here and how at first she only joins the mission because she has her own destination in mind, and then she ends up joining back and continuing on. What did you think of Raffi in this season?
I really liked her. She's, what is it from? Is it from Clueless or one of those movies where they call somebody a Monet because they're from far away, they look all together, but up close to a mess?
Yes.
Like, that's her. Like, that's totally her. Like, you know, she's a complete mess on the inside, and she's using she's got all these vices to try to keep it from overtaking her, you know, sort of cool demeanor, you know, because she doesn't want to show how she's feeling inside to, like, anyone. And, you know, and then when she feels like she's really putting herself out there, when she goes to find her son and she really feels like she's stepping out of her comfort zone, I feel like, then she just completely gets dissed by her own child, you know, and it's really sad. And I am looking forward to her being sort of a mother figure to Elnor, because, you know, he had all of these mothers, and now he has no one, really. So I like that because, you know, she needs, I feel like part of her needs to nurture someone, and, you know, we really did see her have a lot of ups and downs and everything, and I really liked it, and there were some ways I could really relate to her.
I think there were definitely plenty of moments where I really related to her as well. One thing I really appreciate about her character is that in sort of like traditional Star Trek that we're used to seeing, the majority of people that we see, or the majority of characters that we see, are so close to like sort of living like their best life, right? A perfect life. Nobody really gets sick that much, and poverty doesn't exist, and nobody's addicted to anything, and people aren't depressed, and everything is just great because, you know, we've solved all of mankind's problems. And then every once in a while, Star Trek will introduce a character that just does not fit into that mold. Certainly, I think you could put like Lieutenant Barclay from Next Generation into that. You know, he suffered from a lot of social anxiety. I think you could put Tilly from Discovery into that. I think you could even put, like, you think about characters like Tom Paris from Voyager, or the Maquis, who like rebelled against what the Federation was. There's definitely plenty of. I like when Star Trek introduces these sort of broken characters to remind us that even if we do make it to this sort of utopia-like existence, people are still people, and human nature is human nature. And Raffi was a person who became so wrapped up in trying to prove her point that it consumed her.
Right.
That to the point that she lost her entire family, which, I mean, I think we've all known people in our own lives that have done things very similar to that, maybe become so consumed with a thing that they lose everything else around them.
Well, I feel like she probably had some of these things already going on inside her, even even if like her family unit had been great before she started going into all of these conspiracies and everything. Because back to my normal giving people insights into myself that I probably should. Like, I've had depression pretty much all my, like, for a long time. I don't know, 25 years, you know, and I'm 38, you know. So I know there were times when it didn't really show, but if I go back and I think about it, I know that I had it. But then when I had less things to do to keep myself occupied, or I was getting older and I couldn't handle it or anything anymore, like, that really weighed in on you know, how I was with everybody else, or how much caffeine I drank, you know, because I drink alcohol, just not often, and I don't smoke or anything, where, you know, she has different vices than I do. But, you know, like, I feel like she got so involved with all of this, she just, she couldn't handle anything else anymore, and that's how she got into all of these vices, or maybe she already had those vices, and we don't know that yet. Mm-hmm. She could have been, you know, for all we know, she could have been a functioning alcoholic or something when she was in Starfleet. But just her losing her job and her family and everything because she was trying to figure out what, you know, she was trying to figure out this mystery and make, because it, you know, it wasn't right. You know what I mean? Like, she was trying to do good, I feel like, by other people, but then she ended up messing up all of her immediate things, her job and her life and everything, and that really sent her into more of a tailspin, and but she doesn't want people to know it. That's why she was. I kind of went on a tangent-ish there, but not really. But anyway, she's a very good, in-depth character. You know, sometimes you get these ensemble shows where people aren't necessarily, you know, you can tell who's supposed to be like the main person or two because they're more developed than others. Whereas I feel like, at least with, I mean, you know, Elnor, like we said, he wasn't, but it's kind of hard maybe to really show it because, like I said, he may be harder for him to learn things, make his mind work that way. But just to see how, like, how many layers that these people have is really great. And Rafi's character is definitely one of the most layered characters on TV right now. You know what I mean? Like, and it's just really great. And it doesn't have to be like some sort of crazy thing. Like, oh, she's really an alien in a person suit or something, you know, like some sort of weird thing to make her layered. It's like she has like real sort of people problems, like everyday sort of people problems. And yeah, I don't know, I did kind of ramble there, but if you skipped my rambling, basically Rafi's a great character, and and Michelle Hurd is the best.
Well, I think you made some really great points there about, especially
if you could find them while I was like,
oh, they're there. They are very clear to me. Especially with you saying that it's not like she's an alien masquerading as human, and that's why she's, you know, has so many problems. No, she's just a regular person. She's a regular old human being who has these problems, and I think one of the things that I think she struggles with is lack of control, because she loses her position with Starfleet not through her own devices, but because Picard quit, and then the next thing you know, she's being called on the carpet and she loses her position with Starfleet. And she blames him, and I think rightly so. He didn't think about how his actions could impact other people. And then, so she's harboring this resentment towards Picard, and then she becomes obsessed with figuring out who is behind the attack on Utopia Planitia Mars, and it just sort of spirals out of control from there. Maybe the only thing she can control in her life is the drinking and the drug use. Maybe that's what makes her feel like she controls those things, because she can't control her relationship with her son. Her son rejects her. I mean, to the point that she may never know her grandchild. And who knows if that relationship will ever get fixed. So I agree. I think she's one of the most interesting characters on TV right now. And I think Michelle Hurd did a really great job portraying that. Because you also do see moments of clarity in Raffi as she tries to help Rios. When Rios has his moments where he's broken, you see Raffi step into that sort of caregiver role. You know, she brings him coffee. She brings him, you know, she's trying to pull him out of the dark places that he goes to. Because she sees that in herself too, as she can go to those dark places. So yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed her character, and I thought her character made some really great I guess advances this season, to the point that at the end of the series, you know, she tells Picard that she loves him, and he's so flustered, poor thing, he doesn't even know what to say until he finally says that he does love her too. It's very adorable, and it's just a really masterful performance by Michelle Hurd. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I'm definitely looking forward to more of Raffi next season. I hope we get to see her. I hope she stays like, I hope she keeps like her sassiness, because she's got that, honey, let me tell you something. Like I love that about her. Mm-hmm. And I hope that it stays there. I hope that she keeps that.
Yeah, for sure.
So, I guess the last two main characters that appeared in most of the episodes were left with Narek and Narissa.
The incest twins.
The incest Romulan twins, who are very, very weirdly close.
And also, I looked up last night because Narissa calls him little brother, so I guess she's supposed to be older, but she's actually 2 years younger than he is.
Oh, that's so funny.
It's like funny. Thor and Loki, like Tom Hiddleston's like 2 years older than Chris Hemsworth, and they're supposed to be the other way around.
Oh, that's funny. I like that. So we've got Narek played by Harry Treadaway, and we've got Narissa played by Peyton List. And I mean, we can certainly talk about individually like what they've done, but there is a lot to be said about their dynamic when they are together. So these two brother and sister, they're part of he was part of the Zhat Vash, but apparently washed out. Did not complete the program. She is part of the Zhat Vash. She works with Commodore O, who we saw a good amount of this season. Of course, Narek is sent to the Borg cube to infiltrate there and to get close to Soji so that he can find out where the android's home planet is. And yes, he is an intercourse boy, because he absolutely manipulates Soji from day one, manipulates her into wanting to take care of him, wanting to, quote unquote, fix him, tells her some story about how his brother died, which who knows if that's even true, because he's never mentioned again. Like, him and Narissa talk about their parents dying, but they never mention this other
brother,
alleged
brother?
sibling. Yeah, which almost makes me think that he made that entire story up just to